Stand by. Oh, what's up, smarty people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, always looking to get smarter, get more knowledge in this noggin of mine, in my pea-brain sized brain. Boy, that didn't sound smart at all. I guess that's why I do this podcast, so I can make myself smarter, learning various things. And today is no different. Today on the program, I got Labor Day, Labor Day, the holiday, where, the things I know about Labor Day. How do we celebrate Labor Day? We take the day off. We don't do any work. Isn't that cool? It seems oxymoronic to me to name it Labor Day. And you don't work. Generally. I know there's people out there that work on Labor Day and got to do what they got to do to keep things keeping on. Yeah, but I'm not working on Labor Day, at least not in my day job. I'll probably be talking into a microphone some way or another. Maybe I'll do a podcast with somebody. I don't know. Maybe not. But I digress. Let's get into it about Labor Day. Labor Day is a federal holiday in the United States celebrated on the first Monday in September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievements of the United States. The 3-day weekend it falls on is called the Labor Day weekend. Beginning in the late 19th century, as trade union and labor movements grew, trade unionists proposed that a day be set aside to celebrate labor. Labor Day was promoted by the Central Labor Union and the Knights of Labor, which organized the first parade in New York City. In 1887. Oregon was the first state of these United States to make it an official public holiday. By the time it became an official federal holiday in 1894, 30 states in the U.S. officially celebrated Labor Day. Canada's Labor Day is also celebrated on the first Monday of September. More than 80 countries celebrate International Workers' Day on May 1st. The ancient European holiday of May Day. May Day was chosen by the Second International of the Socialists and Communist parties to commemorate the Haymarket Affair, which occurred in Chicago on May 4th, 1886. History. The origins of Labor Day, beginning in the late 19th century as the trade union and labor movements grew. Diverse groups of trade unionists chose a variety of days on which to celebrate labor in the United States. A September holiday called Labor Day was first proposed in the early 1880s. Alternative accounts of the event's origin exist. Descendants of two men with similar last names claim their great-grandfather was the true father of the holiday. According to one early history of Labor Day, the event originated in connection with a General Assembly of the Knights of Labor, convened in New York City in September 1882. In connection with its clandestine Knights Assembly, a public parade of various labor organizations was held on September 5th under the auspices of the Central Labor Union, CLU, of New York. Secretary of the CLU, Matthew McGuire, is credited for first proposing that a National Labor Day holiday subsequently be held on the first Monday of each September in the aftermath of this successful public demonstration. An alternative theory maintains that the idea of Labor Day was the brainchild of Peter J. McGuire, a vice president of the American Federation of Labor, who, after a visit to Toronto where he saw parades celebrating labor that May, had put forward the initial proposal in the spring of 1882. According to McGuire, on May 8th, 1882, he made the proposition to the fledgling Central Labor Union in New York City that a day be set aside for a great holiday for the laboring classes. According to McGuire, he further recommended that the event should begin with a street parade as a public demonstration of organized labor's solidarity and strength, with the march followed by a picnic, to which participating local unions could sell tickets as a fundraiser. According to McGuire, he suggested the first Monday in September as an ideal date for such public celebration, owing to optimum weather and the date's place on the calendar, sitting midway between the 4th of July and Thanksgiving public holidays. Labor Day picnics and other public gatherings frequently featured speeches by prominent labor leaders. In 1909, back in the aughts, the American Federation of Labor Convention designated the Sunday preceding Labor Day as Labor Sunday, to be dedicated to the spiritual and educational aspects of the labor movement. The secondary date failed to gain significant traction in popular culture, although some churches continue to acknowledge it. Legal recognition. The popularity of the event spread across the country. In 1887, Oregon became the first state of these United States to make Labor Day an official public holiday. By 1894, 30 U.S. states were already officially celebrating Labor Day in that year. Congress passed a bill recognizing the first Monday of September as Labor Day and making it an official federal holiday. President Grover Cleveland signed the bill into law on June 28th. The federal law, however, only made it a holiday for federal workers. As late as the 1930s, unions were encouraging workers to strike to make sure they got the day off. All U.S. states, the District of Columbia, and the United States territories have subsequently made Labor Day a statutory holiday. Labor Day versus May Day. Here's the difference between the two holidays. The date of May 1st, an ancient European folk holiday known as May Day, emerged in 1886 as an alternative holiday for the celebration of labor, later becoming known as the International Workers' Day. The date had its origins at the 1885 convention of the American Federation of Labor. There, I said it right. Which passed a resolution calling for adoption of an 8-hour day, effective May 1st, 1886. While negotiation was envisioned for the achievement of the shortened workday, use of the strike to enforce this demand was recognized with May 1st, advocated as a date for coordinated strike action. The proximity of the date to the bloody Haymarket Affair of May 4th, 1886, further accentuated May 1st radical reputation. There was disagreement amongst labor unions at this time about when a holiday celebrating workers should be, with some advocating for continued emphasis of the September March and picnic date, while others sought the designation of the more politically charged date of May 1st. Conservative Democrat President Grover Cleveland was one of those concerned that a labor holiday on May 1st would lend to become a commemoration of the Haymarket Affair and would strengthen socialist and anarchist movements that backed the May 1st commemoration around the globe. In 1887, he publicly supported that September Labor Day holiday as a less inflammatory alternative, formally adopting the date as a United States federal holiday, through a law that he signed in 1894. Since the mid-1950s, the United States has celebrated Loyalty Day and Law Day on May 1st. Unlike Labor Day, neither are legal public holidays, in that government agencies and most businesses do not shut down to celebrate them, and therefore have remained relatively obscure. Loyalty Day is formally celebrated in a few cities, while some bar associates hold Law Day events to celebrate the rule of law. Unofficial end of summer. Summertime. It's almost over. Labor Day is called the unofficial end of summer because it marks the end of cultural summer season. Many take their 2-week vacations during the 2 weeks ending Labor Day weekend. Many fall activities such as school and sports begin about this time. In the United States, many school districts resume classes around the Labor Day weekend, and some begin the week before, making Labor Day weekend the first 3-day weekend of the school calendar, while others return the Tuesday following Labor Day. Many districts across the Midwest are opting to begin school after Labor Day. In the U.S. state of Virginia, the amusement park industry has successfully lobbied legislation requiring that most school districts in the state to have their first day of school after Labor Day in order to give families another weekend to visit amusement parks in the state. The relevant statute has been nicknamed the King's Dominion Law after one such park. This law was repealed in 2019. In the U.S. state of Minnesota, the state fair ends on Labor Day. Under state law, public schools normally do not begin until after the holiday. One reason given for this timing was to allow time for school children to show 4-H projects at the fair. In the U.S., sports Labor Day weekend marks the beginning of many fall sports. National Collegiate Athletic Association, the NCAA, teams usually play their first games that weekend. And the National Football League, the NFL, traditionally play their kickoff game the Thursday following Labor Day. The Southern 500 NASCAR auto race has been held Labor Day weekend at Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina from 1950 to 2003. And since 2015, at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the National Hot Rod Association hold their finals at the NHRA US Nationals Drag Race that weekend. Labor Day is the middle point between weeks and one and two of the U.S. Open tennis championships held in Flushing Meadows, New York. In fashion, Labor Day is or was considered the last day when it's acceptable to wear white or seersucker. Fashion. There are numerous events and activities organized in major cities. For example, New York offers the Labor Day Carnival and fireworks over Coney Island. I want a Coney Island hot dog. In Washington, one popular event is the Labor Day concert at the U.S. Capitol featuring the National Symphony Orchestra with free attendance. Free! Labor Day sales. Ah, yes, commercialism. Here we go. To take advantage of large numbers of potential customers with time to shop, Labor Day has become an important weekend for discounts and allowances by many retailers in the United States, especially for back-to-school sales. Some retailers claim it is one of the largest dates of the year, sale dates, that is, second only to Christmas season's Black Friday. That's a little bit about Labor Day. Hey, I learned a little bit about Labor Day. Anything more? Anything I missed about Labor Day? Drop me some comments. Let me know. If you want, you can email me at keysdan@aol.com. Hey, while you're out there on these interweb, check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for me for this edition of What Makes You Smarter. At least what makes me smarter. I'm learning stuff. You probably knew all about Labor Day, didn't you? It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Get smart.